compared to other offerings, like, you know, WoW and Rift and stuff like that, I like it quite a bit because of the story mechanics. I feel like a lot of the actual gameplay stuff, the minutia, more like, needs a little bit of work. But I think it's got a lot of potential in the future. And as far as an MMO that's been out for, you know, not long, since November, it's doing very well as far as stability goes.
Brian, what are your thoughts?
I have to agree with Tom. It's much better than WoW, but I think there's definitely still things that need to be ironed out, and I wish it was a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Accepting of group play. I tried to keep my time limited on the other character to what we had put into it as a group, and that character's 10 levels further than we are. So it's a bit frustrating, I guess, in that regard, and the gameplay controls and the player versus player stuff definitely need to be revisited. I don't know if that's a
group play note. That was definitely a big issue I had with it. The especially for the class missions, right? So if we wanted to play as a group, we all had to like get our class missions out of the way, or do a bunch of stuff as a group, then split up for a while, so we could get our class missions done. And it's definitely something that could be ironed out. I know they have the group thing, but then you just end up doing it twice if you have two people of the same class. So like early stuff with you guys being both Imperial agents and us being bounty hunters, me and Melanie, made it difficult.
Yeah, to kind of go with that idea of team play and stuff, I thought it was interesting the way they kind of prioritized, or incentivized, rather, how they incentivized group play. Because, you know, like, you can get a lot of fairly interesting stuff with social points, and you obviously earn, like, different light side, dark side points, and I thought that was something that I didn't expect would actually be fun about the game, and that was, like, seeing what choices other people in your party would make. I know when it came down to a major decision, like, do we kill this guy or not, and we all had to kind of do a roll-off for the decision. It was pretty interesting, and I would have liked to see that more often in the later Flashpoints, because when we did the Black Talon Flashpoint and played through it, Darkseid killed everyone, you know, whatever, we were like, haha, that was neat. And then we played through it Lightside, and it was completely different. And I think that mechanic is very interesting to look at. I just like kind of the aesthetics, just the way the character looked when kind of put in the role of like an agent or a sniper, which is what I'd kind of planned to. I liked the kind of idea behind it, and most of my other characters were human, so I kind of wanted a bit of a change there too.
This character was actually made in homage to my fiance, because she has zero interest in the Star Wars universe. Has never seen the movies, refuses to see the movies, so I was hoping that by making a character in her likeness, that she would take some interest in its development and progression, and I would say that it's only had about a 50% success rate in regards to the game itself, and 0% in the actual liking of Star Wars.
So has she wanted to play it all as this character?
She hasn't, but she likes to come over and look every once in a while and see what's changed or what's different. So it's not nested interest, more of casual curiosity.
I had an actually interesting parallel. Once my girlfriend found out that we were playing this game, she really wanted to play and actually started watching the Star Wars series of movies so she would know what was going on in this game. Which surprised the hell out of me, to be totally honest.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're either in or you're out.
To play a female character because whenever I can, I generally play my own gender. That's how I am. I feel like a lot of video games just typically are male oriented, especially older ones, which I don't have a problem with, but I don't know, I guess growing up with playing male characters made me relish being able to play as a female when I could, so that's pretty cool. I do have a male alt character on Star Wars, so I do like to see how the plot changes between different genders and things like that and different classes. So, I don't know why I specifically picked human for the character I was mainly playing. It just seemed like the easiest thing to do, I guess. I really just wanted to see what it was like playing as a human, really, and that's why my other alt character is non-human, so that is also good.
As far as mine goes, I just didn't really care too much about any of the other races. I've always liked cyborg stuff and science fiction-y characters, and I thought a cyborg bounty hunter would be the coolest of all of my various choices. So that's the way I went with it.
Brian, does your decision to play your character that is kind of the avatar of your fiance as Darkseid have anything?
No, I just figured because we were being Empire, we had to go dark, because it's ridiculous in my mind to have someone on the Empire that is for the light.
Oh, why do you feel that? I mean, because in our playing, Tom was light side.
I decided with this particular character to try to stay neutral. And it's just interesting because I wanted to see how that would really guide my decision-making processes and if there was any benefit to it. It is kind of not helpful, I guess, to play neutral because it seems like most of the benefits you get from aligning with dark side or light side, you really only get from picking a side. So they don't really encourage you to be neutral, which I think is a bit odd because most people are neutral on a lot of things in real life.
Well, yeah, I found with this character and with my Inquisitor that there were a couple of times that, despite being ultimate Sith bad guy or badass bounty hunter, there were times where like it just didn't make sense to the way I wanted to play the character to do a dark side thing, but I did it anyway just for the points.
Yeah, and that's a kind of an interesting way that this system works because it rewards you with titles and goodies, basically, for being being higher tiers of light side or higher tiers of dark side. But if you choose to be neutral, you miss out on the titles and the kind of bonus items.
Well, that'd be another.
I'm also intrigued by the amount of disfiguration that comes by going all dark.
Well, yeah, so like the two of us, like my eyes are red or orangish red, and my complexion has started to change a little bit. Do we know what the light side complexion changes are? Appearance changes?
That's actually a very good question. I'm very high-end light side on my alt, and I have noticed 0 changes, which I would like to see something. Like, I would like some kind of signifier that I was more light side than someone who was seeing neutral, but I don't know if you actually get that.
I guess I didn't really interact with the community as a whole a lot, but just looking at general chat. But I did think it was interesting that there was trolling, of course, because it's on the internet, so there's always going to be trolling. You're not going to get away from it. So I feel like the interactions were basically what you would expect. Like, we had mentioned the point where Tom said that he was 16 female Callie, and the reaction was exactly the same as you would get basically anywhere else on the internet with, well, you're obviously fat. But I think that's interesting because even though there was trolling, it was not as much as you would generally expect from other things such as World of Warcraft or just general chat rooms on the internet or wherever you would go. I think the community was rather friendly, actually. Most of what I saw in general chat was people asking for group or asking how to do things, and people would actually tell them what to do, and so that was an interesting change. People were more interested in actually helping each other and that sort of thing. So that was really nice to see, actually.
I mentioned the other day that it's a lot more adult compared to the crowd in WoW. And I know it's been quite some years since I played World of Warcraft, but there's a lot less trolling and adolescent behavior in the channels that can be seen by everybody in comparison.
Well, yeah, and even like anytime any sort of trolling or adolescent behavior came about in general, someone always mentioned Baron's chat, which was the notorious WoW chat area where all of the trolling happened. And
I also thought it was very interesting that as soon as you mentioned Chuck Norris in a negative light, everyone immediately ganged up on you. Which shows that not only are they familiar with the kind of Chuck Norris memes and tropes, they also defend the whole Chuck Norris ideal. Not only are they familiar with it, they subscribe to it.
Well, but how much of that's just trying to fit in versus being funny, or that's what's expected of you on the internet, is to love Chuck Norris?
That's a good question.
But it was definitely easy to troll people. I mean, we were able to get very lively discussions going with just a couple of choice phrases. And, there was the time Brian said, "What does everybody think about religion and politics?" And then immediately firestorm of "religion is for stupid people" comments came in, and I bit and decided to be the religious one, and everybody ganged up on me again.
So, what about this one? I told everyone that I was a 16-year-old female from California, and I was immediately called fat.
Yes. That was a good discussion.
Yeah, that was an interesting night. There's another person who claimed to be a girl, and she was also immediately called fat and ugly.
Yeah,
and a man.
That's one of the big stereotypes, I think, that women playing video games in general run into, but especially MMOs where you're a faceless avatar essentially that doesn't have to represent who you are. It must be everyone who plays an MMO is fat and hideous, because if a woman wanted to do or wasn't fat and ugly, they'd obviously be doing something different than playing a game, which is short-sighted.
Yeah. I don't think we need to get into how ridiculously sexist that is, because if you say, I'm a man, people don't go, you must be fat and ugly. I mean, I think that's the biggest example.
Yeah.
Something I found interesting, I found that people are a lot more accepting of new people, possibly because the game is so new, but in World of Warcraft, there's a kind of a culture of not accepting people who don't know what they're doing, or, being almost a culture of hazing. Whereas I didn't see that here, and I think a lot of that is because you don't have the same utilities to measure performance in this game as you do in World of Warcraft. So someone can't.
And this is still relatively new.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but even when I was playing WoW, maybe 8 months after it launched, my friend finally convinced me to start playing it. That was still going on. That was, roughly the same time period as we're in right now with Old Republic. Games less than a year old, but WoW was very closed, I guess. Closed community. If you didn't know what you were doing, unless you had a friend to help you out, say, oh, you need to go here, or you need this specific equipment to be better at what you're trying to do, no one would tell you.
But WoW was also rooted in a strictly game culture.
That's true.
This is true.
There weren't people from outside the fray coming to play WoW. At least not initially,
Right.
Not in the first couple years. I guarantee you that there are people that are so vested in Star Wars that don't play online games that bought this to experience the worlds themselves.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? To experience an artist rendering of Tatooine, to be able to roam around Nar Shaddaa. These places that they read about, that they've watched, that they want to be a part of. That's why I think it'd be really interesting to see how rooted in traditional lore of Star Wars the role-playing servers are.
That would be very interesting, and you're dead on about that, because I have a friend, he played World of Warcraft for a little bit, and then he quit before reaching max level. This is way back in the day. But as soon as this game was announced, he was like, I want to play this game. And he had it on pre-order for a while, but the only reason he canceled is because he didn't have a computer that could run it. And as soon as he gets a computer that can run it, he will play. And he doesn't want to play because of the end game rating or the PvP or anything like that. He wants to play because he likes the universe.
I for one am going to keep playing. I kind of want to see the end of the two storylines that I started. I don't know about the end game play yet until they release some new content, but I'm definitely interested in seeing the two classes that I started, and possibly one or two on the light side.
Tom, how about you?
I'm absolutely going to keep playing. Once again, I'm really driven to see how the storylines kind of go and conclude, and I'd like to just try out every single one and try out the different characters. I'd also like to explore a little in depth how different the Republic and Empire sides are on this server.
Sorry.
I was just saying I'd also like to find out what the end game is like, because that was something that always concerned me about a game like this. It's mainly kind of like single player focused, but that it has to end at a certain point.
And you played Republic characters, right?
Yeah, I haven't gotten much farther.
What class did you play?
Trooper, and that's my highest Republic one is Trooper, and I have a Jedi Consular, which is the Sith Inquisitor kind of analog. And right now the storylines are very different, and they're still like really cool.
That's what I was wondering, if it was just replace all of the Sith people with human people, and if you're playing Republic versus Darkside, but the class analog.
No, there's actually a scene that when I played the Consular, I was like, man, why didn't I get this on my Inquisitor? But it was totally different feel for the entire storyline. But there's a scene where you like construct your first lightsaber with the Force, and it has this like really intense music playing, and I was like, why did I get this on the Empire? Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, we were just handed them. Okay, here's a lightsaber, go kill stuff.
Are you sufficiently mad? Good.
Alright, so Melanie, this would be the spot where you tell us your final thoughts, if you want to keep playing, if you liked it, and all that good stuff. If you can hear me.
If you,
Final thoughts. I was really impressed with the game. I thought it was pretty good. I think it's pretty faithful to the Star Wars universe. It definitely is very open-ended and gives you the feeling that you're exploring this big open world. And I'll definitely keep playing. I definitely want to see where my characters' plots go. I definitely want to try other plots. I'm really interested to try Light Side just to see what that's like, and just get like the whole experience. So I think that's going to be good. So I'm going to keep on playing and try and find all that stuff out. So there we go.
Overall, like I don't see myself really wanting to go all in to the once I finish it to start another one, but that will likely change as I get more involved in it and am able to spend more time with my characters, rather than just a few sessions here and there. And I think that about wraps it up. Hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble about Old Republic for a little while. See you later.